for having me today, the opportunity to interview you. Yes. Yeah. So could you share with me what is freedom lifestyle design, this thing that you are onto?
So freedom lifestyle design is a set of secrets and tools which help people to design their lifestyle of freedom and joy. I describe it as an escape plan to live financially free and unlock your true potential, but without sacrificing your lifestyle. So as a freedom lifestyle designer, I think I have a fairly cool mission. Usually I get to work with people who are stressed and frustrated and not really happy in their life anymore. And I work with them using the tools that my family and other freedom families have found to design their life of freedom and happiness and their true potential. So it's quite fun. I enjoy it.
So I also understand that you were previously in the corporate role and you are holding a high-level senior management position with a financial institution. What makes you decided to give that change and comes into doing what you are doing now?
Yeah, a couple of things. So I think when you come to the sort of middle stage of your life, things can get a little squeezy. You've got children that need a lot of your time and attention. You've got your wife, you've got your career, you've got your parents who start to get older and you need to worry about their care. So it feels like a time of reflection. You start wondering, wow, I'm working pretty hard. It feels like there's no time. So I did about nearly 20 years in my corporate career. And I achieved a lot, I learned a lot, but it was also quite stressful. And I did start to wonder over the years, is there more to life than this? Is this it? Will I be doing this same routine for the rest of my life? What about those dreams I had? What about those adventures I wanted to take? You know, I'm starting to notice I'm not as young as I used to be. If I wait till I'm 60 or 70 and retire, what will happen to those dreams? So me and my wife, we sort of started to sit around at night thinking about, well, what could we escape? And it seemed impossible, right? How could you give up your job? So you have to have a job, you have to have a career, you have to pay the mortgage. But little by little, we started to learn everything we could. We read so many books, we went on courses, we learned from different teachers. And we sort of found our own way that actually, by the time I reached my 40th birthday, I was able to take my family traveling around the world for 18 months. And we went on incredible adventures. And there's nothing more amazing or rich in my life than that experience. And since then, I thought, I'm a free-range chicken now. I don't want to go back, actually. Once you're free, once you can chase your dreams, once you can take your shots, there's so many different things you can do in life. It's a different perspective to when I was 20 and I was rushing forward. I had to get the next promotion. I needed the job title and I needed to impress my friends and collect the assets. And so now those things don't motivate me as much anymore. So we have a sort of a financial freedom, lifestyle freedom investment method. We have a freedom lifestyle mapping method, and putting these things together, we found a way that works for us and works for other families to achieve your freedom lifestyle and ultimately then also achieve your true potential. So it's a lot more fun when you can do the things you love to do.
When you start on this path, right, were there any challenges from your friends or from your relatives, holding a high senior position and suddenly just move out to kickstart an entrepreneurial path on this lifestyle?
Not as many as you think, but of course there's some challenges, some sort of questions. Your colleagues are shocked, right? How could you possibly do this? Are you crazy? And sort of they come to me in hushed tones and they say, basically, if you don't have the job title, if you don't have that status, that we all fight so hard for in the corporate ladder, then do you have no friends? No, I didn't face too many obstacles. But of course, it's a mental journey. Change, it's like you have to summon a lot of courage And that's what I work with the families I work with on, in terms of building up that confidence around having the income levels, the financial plan in place, so that you can jump with confidence.
What you mentioned is very relatable to a lot of working professionals, because they are in the 9 to 5 job, So by giving up that comfort zone to move into the uncomfort zone, can be quite a transition and challenge for them. Yeah. So for you, right, moving from a 9 to 5 role, giving it up and moving towards a entrepreneurial role where it's freestyle, how do you feel? How do you cope with that transition?
All transitions they take time. None of this is an overnight thing. I would say that it's got to be at least a few years. For me, I was on this journey for 5 years at least, but kind of dreaming it for longer. And then I focus on the financials, your hard dollars and cents. Where are you? The power of lifestyle design is that, you can find a way to match up the dream lifestyle, the things that matter to you, with whatever type of lifestyle and goals you have. It really opens it up for a lot of people. But then gradually you start to change. Your perspective widens, you become braver. At the end of the day, you have to take action. You have to have a little bit of patience to get the reward. If you want short-term rewards, you want to get paid at the end of 30 days every time, then you're going to have to stay there. But if you can stretch yourself and be a little braver in the midpoint of your life and say, okay, I've got a little security now, I've got my life experience, I can make a leap and be braver, then everything in life pays off longer. It's much more rewarding.
The corporate role, right? We will always have the corporate will always prepare us to, you go for courses to stay upgraded and stay competitive in the market itself. What about for entrepreneurship in your role? How do you stay competitive?
I think as entrepreneurs actually really appreciate learning more than corporate professionals do. I know that me and many of my colleagues sort of thought the training, the courses were kind of like, it's just another chore. I want to get back to my email inbox and get out of here. Now, of course, when you're paying for it and it's your own time and you're really committed to it, then it feels very different. You get much more power and much more impact from things when you're committed to them. But definitely on this journey, I really discovered learning and the power of new ideas and new perspectives. I kind of see that midlife career point as a bit of a black hole. I wasn't reading any books. I was barely able to just slump on the couch at the end of the day and say, I survived the day. I didn't want to think of anything new. So I turned off my brain. I was just, in the routine, optimized, hyper-focused on my little area. Then I started reading on this journey, and I read so many books about financial freedom and escape and philosophies and Buddhism and what matters in life, and it really opened my mind. And then I traveled around the world and we kept reading, and I subscribe to the Chinese philosophy that traveling 10,000 miles is like reading 10,000 books. It just blows your mind to travel through Central Asia or travel through the Caucasus Mountains and see these different places, travel down the Nile River, and you see different people living different lives, and you have conversations with people. And I could teach my daughter, why is it one country's like this and why do we do it differently, and really tell her there's no one way. There are not so many shoulds and rules in the world. Open your mind and be creative. There's so many different ways of doing things. So I hugely invest now. I pay for a business coach. I pay for a book writing coach. I'm flying to America next month for a conference on sales. So I really enjoy the opportunity to learn now. So that in a way is one of the biggest benefits of this transformation. I feel like I've been reawakened from that old sort of routine life to open-minded.
When you're holding your corporate role, right, you tend to have a lot more networking opportunities. Then what about for your entrepreneurship roles? How do you deploy your networking opportunities or strategies over here?
I feel like it's an episode of Mythbusters now. You keep giving me a question and I keep saying, it's a myth, it's not true. I'm not saying I was perfect. I think I was not the perfect corporate employee, but I think I was optimized for my environment. But to me, when I had a networking event, I was like, oh, another chore. I could much rather be back in the office clearing my email inbox again and just getting out of there. So I wasn't really listening when I would go to networking events. I was like, are you helping me do my job today? If you're not, I'm not interested. So now when I go to networking events, I actually listen to people. I'd love to hear their stories. I post every day on LinkedIn. I always get fascinating stories and perspectives when I talk to people. I'm writing a book at the moment. I just did a book launch last night. I'm always looking for people's stories. I'm open now. But actually, when I'm open and when I really listen, I learn something. And then people always come to me with different opportunities. So that's another part, to be honest, on this financial, free financial lifestyle choice that I was going on, I thought I'd just sit around, climb mountains, go to the beach. But actually, it's not like that. Once you're free and have all that time you used to give solely to your job, now you're open to the world, you're open to opportunity. So I go to different events and people are fascinated to hear the different stories you have. You're a bit different to everybody else, and people love to talk to you, and they realize, oh, this is a person who's doing things and trying new things. Maybe they could help with what I'm trying to do. Of course, I don't talk to many other, a lot of entrepreneurs come and talk to me. A lot of people exploring different lifestyles talk to me as well. But yeah, I think it's a myth that you need to rely upon your corporate job to network. There's just that little obstacle. It's like that phrase, you just have to jump over a small hurdle to get a big reward. You just have to get comfortable with, not relying on your job title and your corporate brand anymore. So those first few events when I couldn't say, oh, I'm, Ivan from this company and this role, that's nice and easy and it was comfortable. Now I had to think, who am I? How do I explain myself? And that's just an obstacle you have to get over.
Can you provide 3 pieces of advice for millennials that is starting out in their career or they are on the transition to become an entrepreneur?
I think a little bit like I just said, I think, work hard when you start. Everything compounds. So it's okay to run hard and push hard to begin with. Try to get some experience, some mastery. I think the path to having some options and freedom in life is to build some expertise, to build some skills that have value in the market, and then learn the bravery later to go and market them. I also think that it's really important to keep investing in yourself. This wasn't really how I sort of thought when I was younger. I thought school was something you did and done and dusted. Now I know that people are much more open to learning continuously and becoming better. There's never been a better time to learn. You can find out everything. Information is essentially free. It's your willingness to learn and act on it today. So it's an incredible time. You can upskill yourself and you can become 10 times smarter than your boss very easily today. But you have to have the act, the effort, the will to actually do that and apply what you learn. The last thing I think would just be around your money. I think it's easy to slip into bad habits early in your life. You feel like you're racing to keep up with everybody else. You can easily fall into lifestyle inflation where you just spend more money just for no reason, and you realize whatever more money I have, the more money, I spend more money. That closes down your options. You'll never essentially be able to stop swapping your time for money then. But if you start, if you start investing and compounding earlier, you'll be able to open up a lot of opportunities later in your life.
If you have one superpower, right, what do you think it will be?
I think sales and communication. I think my life has realized that everything is sales. The governments are selling to us what to do. The companies are selling to us what to buy and how to live. I'm selling to my daughter how to do her homework. I'm selling to, my friends, where should we go for dinner at the weekend. Everything in life is sales, and I kind of avoided that for a long time. I thought I was an analytical person. I didn't need to do sales. And I was eventually in my corporate career, I was put into a sales role, and I found it really amazing to discover you can sell in lots of different ways. You don't have to be a sort of a snake oil salesman. You don't have to be aggressive, type A personality. You can sell in an empathetic way. You can sell in a listening way. You can sell in a gentle, confident way. There's lots of different ways, but you should learn to sell. One of the people I love and admire in life is Naval Ravikant, the very successful angel investor. And in his book or in his tweets, he says that learn to sell and learn to build. And if you can do both, you'll be absolutely unstoppable. And I fully agree with that. So if I could have that superpower, I know I could conquer the world as well. You have to be able to sell your ideas. It makes such a difference.
Well, thank you very much, Ivan, for the interview today.
It's very much been a pleasure. Happy to connect with anyone out there on LinkedIn and hear my stories and share their journeys if they want to learn more.
Okay, cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.